my name is Frances Bench, and I'm going to introduce Neville Britto to you. He did the presentation called The Mirror of My Soul. Neville Britto was born in India. He received his graduate degree in English and Economics from the University of Nagpur, India, his AD in Philosophy from Urbano University in Rome, Italy, and his MA in Education from the University of Michigan. He also has 30-plus credits in postgraduate work in composition from Michigan State University. For the last 27 years, Neville has been a lead teacher in Composition 1, 2, and Advanced Composition at Delta College, at the off-campus Ricker Center and the First Ward Community Center. He also teaches Composition 1 and 2 at our main campus. His professionalism is motivated by his dedication to diversity. He is the co-founder of the Human Relations Committee at Delta College and served as its chair for a decade. He is also the chair of Delta College's Equity Office Advisory Committee, helping with issues regarding equity. In his classes, he emphasizes diversity and spends time directing students in understanding and appreciating diverse cultures. He has done numerous presentations on diversity and has received the Spirit of Martin Luther King Award from the Black Faculty and Staff Organization. He is qualified to speak about diversity because he lives it.
Good evening. Thank you for having me come this evening to talk to you. You notice I said I'm going to talk to you, I'm not going to preach. I'm not going to give a lecture, and hopefully I'm all done. That's it. You said make it short.
It's all right. We're full of jokes here. That's good.
Folks, I have taught at Delta College. This is my 28th year in the English division. And some people have had me for class. And basically, I teach my classes off campus. I have 2 classes here, but then I teach at the Ricker Center at night and then at the First Ward Community Center during the day. And the reason I do that is because I'm a person who truly believes and lives diversity, and I want people to understand that diversity is nothing so pragmatic or so difficult that we cannot understand it. All I want you to do this evening is just listen to what I have to say. Throw any questions you might have my way. And hopefully, the only objective I would like to have you give me this evening when I leave is a sense of accomplishment, that I have planted a small seed in you about diversity, and that you will take this seed and plant it in somebody else, and that seed will grow and grow and grow, and we will become a diverse world. We look at each other, we see a reflection of ourselves, and if we don't like that reflection that we see in others, then obviously we do not like who we are. You've noticed diversity has become a buzzword in the last decade or more that I've been dealing with it. Everybody wants to talk about it, they want to bring it into curriculum and workplace, but nobody truly knows exactly what it's all about. I'm not going to tell you that this evening when I finish that you're going to know all about it, nor do I know about it, because it's a continually learning process. But it's imperative that both of us, you and I, analyze this issue frequently and look at it as the world changes, because as you and I know, as we watch the current events that unfold every day in our communities, in our country and around the world, that somehow we're beginning to lose the idea that diversity is important for the survival of the human race. If I were to give you a simple definition of diversity, it would be diversity is the acknowledgement, the understanding, the respecting, and the tolerance of differences. Now we could come up with 101 fancy educational literary definitions, but this one has always served my purpose, and I think it will serve your purpose. When you look at it as something that's very simplistic, and the more simplistic things are, the easier they are to deal with. Some of the misnomers that we have about diversity range from, first of all, a belief that diversity is only ethnicity. Most people think it has to do with race, and people decide it's race, color, or creed. And you say, what is diversity and people will say, oh, I know Professor Britto, he's from India. Or I know Professor Urbano, and will pretend that she is Chinese. All right? And I know Professor Knox, and she happens to be African American. So that is diversity. And when we do this, we begin to colorize diversity. And diversity has no color. There's an interesting book written by James McBride, and the title of the book is The Color of Water. And in this book, James, who has a Russian mother and a black father, tries to understand how it came about that he became a biracial child. So one day, sitting with his mother, he poses the question to her, and he says, "Mother, what is the color of God?" And her reply to her son was, "Son, the color of God is the color of water." Okay. And when we look at diversity, basically that is what diversity is. It is the color of water. Now, if I walked into this class and Dr. Urbano hadn't told you my name or where I was from, would you have been able to place my ethnic identity or my culture?
Yes.
How could you do that?
I would have said Middle Eastern. I wouldn't have said specific.
You would have said Middle Eastern. You said yes, sir.
Oh, I didn't say his name.
Middle Eastern. Why couldn't I have been white? Well, I could have gone through suntan and got a 1 hour tan. I use that because, okay, I read an article in the national news on Sunday night which upset me immensely, and it happened in the state of Tennessee, where a newspaper article came up with an editorial that said more and more immigrants today in the state of Tennessee are being paid higher wages if they are light-skinned and lower wages if they were dark-skinned. And I thought to myself, I thought we had forgotten about the coloration of skin when it came to Americans. Now we got to go and pick on us poor immigrants. Okay? And I immigrated here 42 years ago. I love this country. I'm an American citizen. And when people talk about immigration, I have some concerns about it. But definitely I would ask you, if you have concerns, ask people. You don't know. I ask students. I walked up to a young lady, and she's in my class right now. And I knew she was from India. And I said, "Are you from India?" And she said, "No." Okay. And I said, "Where are you from?" She said, "I'm from Bangladesh." Okay. And Bangladesh is a part of India. It's the East Pakistan. Right? And I said, "Oh, that's different." Yes, it is. To her, her identity is very important. You both might look alike. Okay. But basically her identity is, I'm a Pakistani, I'm not an Indian. And we need to respect. The second one is prejudice. Prejudice basically comes from prejudging because we don't want to ask. Okay. And you notice the issue of outsourcing jobs to India. Frequently people come up to me and wag their fingers in my face. Okay. You Indians are taking our jobs. And my reply is, I didn't do it. Okay? Right. We're not taking the jobs. So the prejudice comes that because those jobs are going to India, therefore we should be prejudiced against Indians, Mexicans, Chinese people. It's a question of economics, and it's a question of people being able to produce what we have that we cannot do here at the cost that it can be done there. Okay? And the moment we realize that as Americans, we will become a prosperous economy. Okay? And all we have to do is look at the Christmas gift you got. If you bought a plasma TV to watch the Super Bowl on Sunday, and you took it home and you know you couldn't fix it because there's a special way to set it up. And think a minute that plasma TV has 3 components to it. One part is made in China. Another part is made in India. And a third part is made in America. You have to put all 3 together to work. It doesn't work. Because it's coming from 3 different continents. Therefore, they give you a booklet that says, easy to assemble. Basically, folks, right, that is what prejudice is. And I'm not saying because I have on a suit that's made in India and it's made very cheaply, possibly for about $40. Right? That we have to say that all Indian labor is cheap. No, prejudices ask people, why are you doing this? And finally, the stereotyping is putting people into compartments. We see Middle Eastern people with the burqa or the covering of their heads, and we tend to believe that, they have got to be terrorists. I'm sure you heard of the last episode we had about the 40 Arabians from Detroit being prohibited from getting on the flight from Frankfurt to Detroit because they were coming back from a pilgrimage to Mecca. And just because there were 40 people on the flight, and they were all Arabs, the airline supposedly did not let them board the flight. And most people said, that is called racial profiling. We talked about it this time. And that wasn't racial profiling at all. If you look at it, the stereotyping is Arabs, people don't want 40 Arabs sitting together. And in reality, what happened there was, the 40 people turned up late for their flight. International flights require a 1 hour window. You have to be there 1 hour before the flight. They arrived 20 minutes before the flight, and therefore were denied access to the plane. Next, try to be understanding. And understanding is to ask before you make a comment. I remember helping with the Special Olympics that took place last week. They had the Special Olympics at Vince Mountain. Over 300 people doing the sports you would do, skiing, snowboarding, etc. It takes a great deal of effort to do it. And it's easy to stand on the sidelines and say, my gosh, why are they putting so much effort into this when it's so painful for them? And why are all these volunteers so happy doing this? And the answer is obvious. They understand that to that person who is physically challenged, mentally incapable of doing anything, whatever he or she accomplishes is a wonderful aspect of success, and therefore that's what diversity is about. And lastly, tell yourself this evening that you're going to make a difference. You remember the famous Christian Saint St. Augustine and the story about the starfish? How he was walking around the seashore and he saw with a young boy, and this old man, every time the waves came up, brought in starfish. And the man would stoop down and pick up the starfish and throw it back in the ocean. But there were too many. So the young man said to the old one, he said, why are you wasting your time throwing all these starfish in the ocean? He picked up one and he threw it in and he said, I made a difference and that starfish's life. So whoever you come across, man, woman, child, and even some of us older folks, give us a break. I'm 68. I'm a senior citizen. And some people say, oh, you're a geezer. Hey, I'm a geezer, but just like a hot water heater, I still got some heat in me. And basically, all right, you give an answer like that and it flabbergasts people. Never get insulted about what people say. Right. Folks, I want to conclude here very simply by asking you to be a symbol of America. All of you have seen the Statue of Liberty. I want you to be a Statue of Liberty on the island of diversity. You are that statue with the torch in your hand. And you're asking all these people to come towards you, and you're going to tell them, I know what diversity is. And if you have any trouble, any sorrow, any concerns, come to me and I will show you how to do it.